I think that the fitness for the mind and network, the whole concept is, I think it's really cool. I mean, we need more of it on a global scale. I mean, I've had the opportunity to live and work in, Europe, South America, as well as other continents, South Africa as well. And I don't see enough of people connecting, even at events where it's meant to be a co-working space and, you're going to go meet. No one does it. Like, you kind of just sit and you're like, hi. Hi, and it doesn't really go beyond that, like, let alone making the stretch. And unless you're of that kind of mindset, which is only limited to a very few select people that will go up to a stranger, then it needs to be facilitated. And that was one of the great things I saw about the fitness of the mind, the networking event that we just had, because yeah, literally, I got to meet a guy that was from Brazil. He's trying to get citizenship in Italy, and he's here to do graphic design. He has an interesting story. I met someone else who traveled through India and was a freelance journalist, and I need some help with some content writing that I'm doing, and the graphic designer could perhaps, maybe I could help him get settled, because I used to live in Italy. So all of these things would never happen if it wasn't for a simple thing like a meeting like that. So I definitely want more of this to happen kind of across rooms, because even the so-called kind of working spaces aren't enough. You need a push, and this for me is that. I think that anything that pushes people into uncomfortable places is great for mind and body. And the reality is as we were saying, I see a need for this, because, you can look at, kind of look behind me, you can see what's going on. It's like, everyone's kind of working kind of, on their laptops and individually, and it's not really a cohesive working space in terms of collaboration and communication. So forcing that, giving it a little kick at the beginning, is really, really worthwhile. And I think that really helps with this concept of burning your bridges, because when you don't give yourself an opportunity to exit, then the only way is forward. And this is what happens when you're in that group and we start playing these seemingly meaningless games, but they're there for a purpose, because it's pushing you to do something as part of a group. Let's talk about birthdays, let's talk about countries, let's play a game about naming vegetables, and you can't think of a vegetable, so you just say like blah, and it's funny, but it's also, you get a little bit nervous because you see it as a little bit of a sign of a lack of intellect, or ooh, and that's really invigorating, because you realize that everyone else is making mistakes, and it's very difficult for someone to make those steps all alone. And that's what's really great about these groups. 1,200 friends on my Facebook. I've got a different account that I used to use for work. It's got 5,500 friends. How many conversations do I have with these people on a regular basis? Oh my God, it's like good friends, less than 5. People I speak to, maybe 25. So yes, you need the face-to-face contact. And the interesting thing for me, being a digital nomad, is that sometimes I forget that. I spend a lot of time kind of in isolation, quote unquote, because I'm pursuing other interests. And today kind of made me realize that, oh wow, it's cool to just kind of meet people and be like, oh hey man, or hey, what's up, and just kind of talk. And the kind of connections you build far outweigh friending someone just on Facebook, or liking a post, or connecting them, or sending a connection request on LinkedIn, because then it's very much about what is the best strategy to approach you, and what have you done? And sometimes all it takes is a face-to-face meeting, being like, oh, hey, I'm Deepak, or hey. So that's really outweighs the value of, as you said, just kind of friending someone on Facebook. One of the greatest unspoken parts about entrepreneurship is the loneliness that's involved when you go and decide to beat your own path, and that you're on a track, but you're on a track that's kind of you work in silos, you work alone a lot of the time, and you grab bits of information here and there, but you're laying the tracks that's going to be kind of the railway that's for your own life. And this is stressful. I mean, we spend all this time in education and then the workplace being told what to do. So it's so nice and stress relieving to be able to meet people that are on that same journey as you. And it isn't just in a digital format. It's like, oh, hey, and that's something that, I feel, for example, that I miss a little bit. Like, there's things to be said about a kind of office environment, but where you have people that can share your struggle. And, I don't know, my mum always was like, a problem shared is a problem halved. And it's funny when you look back and you think, oh, wow, So she wasn't lying then. Like, it really is helpful to just talk to people about, this is my stuff. Can you help me with my stuff? Because everyone has their stuff. It's just a case of finding out what it is. So yeah, it was really great and stress relieving to be able to meet people face to face and just talk about our own problems.